learn to an election. Live in the hills, but I still get a spread. Started with a little, but I still reinvest it. Fear how I feel, then you feel like a blessing. I just want the lesson, I just want protection. I'm up and I'm down, but they sound like progression. Farmer never plans if he waits for perfection. Finger to the down, hold it down, we gon' get it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I got your watches coming in at June 15, 2020, and the stock market is going to go crazy. If you did not remember, last Thursday, Friday, volatility got introduced. Friday was something like a movie. It was very, very suspenseful, but we have an action-packed week this week, a lot from Jerome Powell. That is going to be the main thing, and how we even respond to what we saw this week. Still concerns of the virus and the second wave. You got kind of more bad numbers, so we have a lot to look at and a lot to talk about. So I'm going to go over that. Going to go over the play we made on Friday. I made a pretty big $8,000 option trade as well as a few others. I'm going to go over those, and I have some stocks that I'm going to be looking at tomorrow. So let us not delay. You guys know what you need to do. Drop your thumbs up on the video. Make sure you're subscribed. And if you don't know, we are live Monday through Friday, 30 minutes before open. It's the first link in the description, and it is pinned in the comments. We better see you there in the morning. It's free $99. It costs you nothing to join. YouTube.com/thestockmarket. You can post the plays, see the plays, ask about the plays, watch the watch list come to life. All we ask is that you're positive and respectful, and the most important thing you need to do, post your watches below. Let us know what you're looking at. You got any plays, comments, remixes, anything, post them below and source that info. And tomorrow is going to be Monday. We have the random account generator. So don't you forget about this guy right here. We took it up to 2,000. We forgot to sell out. We're still holding some of those plays. We still got those Microsofts from Owen. So shout out to Owen. But how it works here for the Mondays, what you got to do is post a specific option play below. We take this account here. We put $100 into a play. We use a random comment picker, and we see and evaluate the performance if you just took random plays. So this is the account since we've made it. A lot of ups and downs. So thank you for participating, and post below so, well, yeah, we could get a play. So right off the bat, the first thing we need to talk about is we closed green on Friday. So again, the market can be very, very crazy tomorrow. What I'm expecting it for it to be crazy is just the fact that the volatility came back. Thursday was a big, big day. It was bigger than a lot of people expected. Friday, we kind of saw, we opened up a lot. We sold off. We were really, really low, about to go red, or I think we did for a little bit. The Dow was still green. Then we ended up still closing 477 points up. So it was a wild ride. A lot of people are still asking. Some people have already even said over the weekend they think the volatility is going to come back. It's here to stay, and that's even kind of what I want to say. The fact that we saw it close green, I'm going to say that it's not going to be too crazy of a week. However, the biggest key from all of this to keep an eye on moving forward in this week, in the next 2 weeks, and then if any news comes out, is understand that uncertainty has now been introduced to the market. Again, comparing this to the last 2 or 3 months, especially how the market has played out, uncertainty is officially kind of coming back here. So how this plays out will be very, very important. Understand, if it could kind of brush this off, that will make the market more resilient and even stronger. So I hope you are ready. But the best part about this week, we do not have a lack of any news events, because we are going to get Powell on Tuesday and Wednesday. You're going to get the Senate Banking Committee, and then retail sales as well on Tuesday, and then initial jobless claims on Thursday, and then Friday you're going to get current account report from the United States as far as, items that we're actually buying. So there's going to be some data, but at the very least, we are going to get Powell. Now, putting this into the context of things, remember, all of this drop and everything we saw, again, this has been a big, big point I wanted to make clear, is that this is following the Fed. This is why we follow the Fed in the events. This is why Powell's so important. This is why he's in the thumbnails. This is why we talk about him. He is the Federal Reserve Chair, and the actions from the Fed and what the Fed is doing is very, very important to both the recovery, the response, and how everything is playing out right now with the stock market. So we've been dropping since then. You could see kind of the reaction, and a lot, again, the market has had a few days to digest it. Everybody is pretty much saying that Powell was very, very blunt, in that he kind of gave a bad news, a very, very hawkish look. So if that continues, or now when he has these speeches before the Senate Banking Committee, some people are expecting it to be a little bit more political given the situation. But if he says anything, gives any more information, I wouldn't be surprised to see the market react. And then now too, stuff like retail sales sales, jobless claims, we've had enough time go by. So as this data starts to come out, this is either going to squash the hopes of the recovery. And again, now you are seeing all this second wave talks and everything like that. So that is what's going to be important to watch this week. And we want to see, does that develop? How does that contribute to volatility, or does the market have resilience and hold up? And that's how I'm even going to be playing stuff. I'm going to try to utilize some selling premium, but balance out and position ourselves up with both puts and calls with some of this stuff we're already in, assuming the premiums aren't too crazy. So watch out for that. But at the end of the day, this week, I'm pretty sure it's going to be driven by the news, like we've been seeing already to begin with in many instances. So I believe, though, the key is going to be if volatility really does come back this week and what Powell says to either solidify that volatility, contribute to it, or sugarcoat it, and maybe he even walks back. I think you even got Fed Rosengren on Friday too. So watching the Fed, the response, how they handle the market, and how investors take the Fed this week, as well as any other data, that is going to be important. What we want to see is, do we set a new range? Does the market chill out, or do we start to enter in big violent shakeouts? And again, do we see volatility where it's like, okay, we kind of go down and then chill out for a little bit, or do we start to see these huge 1,000-point days? There's many things to watch, many indexes, even the dollar and TOT and all that stuff we need to keep our eye out for. But the timing is going to be interesting. So I'm very patient. I think the fact that we closed green when we could have closed red on Friday, it's showing that people are worried, but there's still a little bit of support. So we will see on Monday. But that is pretty much it. So let us get into the plays. So right off the bat, I have a few different plays I want to go over, and I'm excited about a few of them. I made an Intel, NVIDIA, Boeing. Those are the three plays that I made and that I'm going to be watching. I really like the Intel, NVIDIA plays too, and we already have some plays that were set up even with NVIDIA, but the play I really want this week, I'm going to be eyeing. It's either going to be a play that we do today, tomorrow, or Wednesday, depending on we see the premiums, but I have other positions like that call spread on it, but it's McDonald's. I think they could replicate what we saw with HD. So you guys saw how we played Home Depot last week. That was a very good play. That was like 1,000% within the day or something like that. But again, McDonald's is one of those movers. It's not the same as Home Depot where it's had the crazy uptrend. However, you can see it's had an uptrend and then it really stayed in a very tight range. So I'm assuming I could get some cheap plays on it. So what I'd be looking to do if there is a bounce in rotation, either them on the call side, but actually I really just only want calls because I got puts on them last week. We have that call credit spread that we sold. So I want to see if I could get a quick $20, $30 play that I could get in here on the call side. If McDonald's moves, then it could either protect our other positions or pad in the stats, or I won't lose too much. So that is the first play I'm going to be watching for. But again, if you didn't watch the watch list, I believe on Thursday, I really suggest that you watch it, because these plays like Home Depot and some of these slow movers, these are going to be very important in this type of marketplace, especially if whether volatility comes back or it's just kind of these volatility blips. These are usually going to be the winners and types of plays. So I focused on this a lot. Pay attention, and if you have any of these plays, call them out. But I got the McDonald's. The next play that we did, and the next play I got was Intel. So I like Intel. I got January calls, and there was news that they had like a product developer leave, but my play with Intel pretty much, I want to get in on the chip makers. They're a slow mover, and even here on the 100 days, they pretty much came all the way back. So volatility is right around the corner. I said this on Friday or on Thursday how I wanted to set it up. We'll go over that big UUP play that I made, but that was part of it. That was a mix of both the proprietary coin and the budget. But what I'm doing is now it's like if I suspect volatility could come back again, we don't know if it's going to come back. We don't know if it's going to look the same. I don't want to jump to conclusions. So what I'm doing is setting aside a budget and buying plays. But I'm saying I could set around 10, 12,000 to play this, but my minimum criteria I'm going to make sure is that 90% of the plays have a lot of time to get me all the way towards the end of the year where I'm expecting more stuff to take place. So that's why I got these Intels. I got Intel January 30s. I believe I bought like 10 of them. I got them at 49 cents, and these were a little bit expensive at first. You could even say they had a lot of volatility, and this is something I'm noticing is that when the volatility in the market's acting like this, some of the ones with time, this is the downside, they're very wide spreads, and it's really hard to get filled on. So these pretty much stayed around the same price. Even when we bought them, they barely moved. So I paid 100% premium. If I'm wrong or if the volatility goes away, you'll be able to get these cheap. But that's why I like these plays. They'll either get a little bit cheaper if I'm wrong, but they have enough time where the spread should protect us, but we'll see. And then I also did another play. Where was it? I think we got these NVIDIA January puts. I got 135s. I got two of them at 137. So these are again crazy out of the money. But idea here would be volatility, holding this with time, and the fact that, NVIDIA has had a pretty monster run. Again, if you even look at, they're at all-time highs, and NVIDIA was at 145 at the low of 2019, but they used to be a $20 stock, so we'll see. But if anything, this one's time, extrinsic value, and, getting a play with a lot of meat on the bone. So volatility did surprise me out of nowhere. I will be protected with this play. And then finally, kind of the same logic, but this play was definitely a lot more expensive. I only got one, but Boeing, I got a January 21st 55 put. I like the aspect of playing Boeing, but really what I've already seen before. Again, I'm going to hold this play just in case we get surprised. Again, you can see it's very, very far out the money there, but this play barely went up in value. Yeah, it's actually even cheaper than what I bought it for. So this is the one I was looking at. I was like, well, it definitely, Boeing could come down. You could profit off of it, but there's so much expectations that the break even on something this far, again, it's requiring a 60-70% drop, and you're paying $170. So I don't really like that one as much. I think if I do want to play any Boeing, I'm going to be going to the short term with them, but I do like the other chip maker plays in that McDonald's. So that is what I'm going to be playing tomorrow, and those are my 3 or 4 stocks. As far as everything else, I'm going to be watching HD McDonald's. I still have those plays. I did take profit on one of those HDs. So we have one of them ghetto spreaded on the small account. Then I had 2 of them on this account, and then I sold 1 out of 2. So this play is already free, but I got some profits on it yesterday. Still holding that McDonald's put, like I said. So I'm going to be looking to set up a play around that. And then UUP, this was the play that we made on Friday, and this was the play that I said was my big play. And essentially, I wanted to throw in 2,000. I said I was going to be able to throw up to 10,000. I flipped the coin 4 times in a row, and it just said higher, higher, higher. So I like it, but the idea is you could see it here. I overlaid it with TLT, but you could see the two pretty much. Dollar and bonds relate, but UUP is going to be a lagger. So pretty much what I'm expecting is that now they're talking need more stimulus. You're talking liquidity crunch. Fed has brought it up a few times. We've had 3 or 4 months for kind of everything to blush through. The dollar's hitting a level, again, what I was looking for. So anything, you could always see it though, but UUP is going to be the last one to hit. If TLT started to go, I was waiting for TLT to confirm, but I wanted to get this play with time. So what did I do grab with this? We grabbed the UUPs. I grabbed 100 of these or 200 of these at 15 cents. Actually, 400 at 15 cents of the January 15, 30 calls. And then I also grabbed another right here. Grabbed another 123 here, and then like another 8 or 10 on the small account. But so again, I was only going to put $2,000. I did budget a decent amount for it, but I got them. And this idea, we played this play before. I've already lost $5,000 on it, and you could even see that play. Maybe it does come back, but you can see I'm holding. I put 4,600. I'm down $3,850 on it. So. And then we had the other $1,800. So yeah, it was like $5 or $6 grand in there. So this is a slow mover. It's not the best play. Why I got it is kind of just like a crazy insurance plan. So that way, if I do miss TLT, if I do miss anything, it'll be there. But it's a slow mover. You got to get in the money. It may not pay out. This may not really be the best play. So I've taken a limb on it the first time. I already missed on it, but I'm going to go for it again. This isn't really my no-brainer play, but this is kind of my riskier if something did pop off, or kind of something where there's just not a lot of eyes on it. It moves slow. If something, I like it when these slow indicators, if they do pop off and something does get broken loose, these could really benefit us. So I'm going to be watching those, but those are the final plays that I've already made. I'm going to be watching that. I'm going to be watching Wells Fargo. I didn't get the puts. I still like the bank play. I'm holding those JPs. I think those are pretty much dead though, but I like the banks all around in general. And then there's that. Then watch Zoom and keep this in mind for some of these plays next week, is that a lot of the restaurant companies or people affected by everything going on, they got a little bit hit harder, and then some of the winners, they did good. So when everything was doing bad, Zoom started to go up again. So watch for them on the call side. They're very expensive. In that same note, watch Expedia and the travel stocks and anything that got affected. I like Expedia. I want to watch Booking. Again, it's moved up a lot. You can make plays on here. It's just expensive and widespread. So I'm going to look at that. Johnson & Johnson, I wanted them on the call side. They started to drop, but the fact it's kind of holding up here again reminds me of Walmart. That play from last week we got on Walmart, those went up a little bit. So watch them. Watch Zoom. Again, Spotify, interesting point. I'm still in that call. We ghetto spreaded some of them, but Those are starting to decay, so keep your eye on that. And then Shopify, same exact thing. But if there is any volatility, you see individual movers this week, I would try to pay attention to companies like Shopify and Spotify and see what they do. But there's that. And then finally, TLT. I am going to be watching UUP mainly this week. However, watch TLT. And if there is any volatility, anything after Powell speaks, it has to get above 168, 169, 170. That's when you know TLT is snitching again. So do not jump the gun. I know a lot of people are on there. You know, we've said a lot of stories on stream. People are going crazy, but TLT is interesting, and we're here. You know, the more we hear from the Fed and we see how it reacts, I mean, just give it some time. Remember, the last time it's played out, and especially after a blowout, it takes a while for the bonds to adjust. Same thing even with the dollar. So again, you guys, some of these plays, don't go crazy if you don't really know how they understand too. So be careful. But that is your watch list, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you're hydrated, healthy, ready to go. Make sure you post your watch list. Make sure we see you there in the morning. I need the armor on. I need the helmet shining. I need you in your lane. I need you ready to control the balances. I need you ready to last, baby. Are you going to foul out? Are you going to be in the game? Are you going to be nibbling on it? Or are you going to try to get greedy and get your neck slit? Oh, my God, that's aggressive. But the code loves you. I love you. I'm going to see you in the morning. Let's go.